Brian, this is one of the rare times that we're talking about a guy that's, one, not from Florida, but two, someone that I have seen with my own eyes in the last football season. 4-star tight end Brock Schott from Leo, Indiana, Leo High School. I had no idea this kid was this good on the offensive side of the ball when I saw him earlier this year, well, last year now. But this kid's a phenomenal, talented tight end. And he's also a guy, Brian, that I think is more of a new age tight end, that if Ohio State gets a commitment from him, he is a kind of guy that they can shift the tight end position with. Yeah, Jelani Thurman's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not overlooking him. But Brock Schott can be like, hey, I can do a lot of things that are new age in football that can help the Buckeyes offense.
I was surprised at how nimble he was.
Yeah.
Going through his film, whether it was a drill or whether it was in a game, he changed direction a little bit better than I thought. Because, like, you see him in an outfit, something tight fitting. He looks like he's going to be kind of muscle bound. He wasn't at all. He's pretty loose. And if you can change direction with his straight line speed to go on with it, he is fast. That's going to be a problem whether you're playing tight end. And I like him just as much at defensive end, just watching some of the clips. But you have to want to play the spot. Most kids would rather play offense. Whatever it ends up being, that's fine. He's 215, 220 now. He'll be 240, I guess, by the time he leaves college, if not 250. And to be honest with you, if he just played at 230, 235, that's fine. Because as a flex tight end, we were just talking about it. How many linebackers are going to stay with a guy like Schott?
Man.
It's going to be hard, man. He's a really powerful kid, though. Here's the versatility point, like we were talking about with Alford. 3rd down and 6, okay, you can split him out. That's fine. 3rd down and 2, as built as he is, you could put him at fullback, H-back, inline tight end, or put him out wide and run a screen, and he could be your main blocker. When you can run a 22 package or 2 running backs and 2 tight ends, the other team brings in their big linebacker, and then you split him out, advantage to the offense. That's the kind of guy he is, and to your point about new age, and it's very frustrating I've talked to coordinators about this. They hate it. There is no counterpoint to it because guys like this can play in completely different roles, but in a heavy formation package, you have to guess. You have no idea what's coming. So that's why kids like him are so heavily recruited and why tight ends are moving up in recruiting rankings. I think 247 has him like 167 in the country. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Schott moved up because, like, he plays in the Fort Wayne area. It's not like it's a good area for football, but it's not coveted and scouted like where I live. Not even competitive. You know, there's a few guys that, like Wilt Fong lives in Indiana, et cetera, but there aren't many. I would imagine he'd be a top 100 kid if he lived in Orlando or Daytona or Tampa, something like that.
I'm right there with you. I am actually from – I may have mentioned this to you before. I was born in Fort Wayne, moved to Indianapolis when I was 6, now live in Kokomo. I watched a high school football game in Fort Wayne a year ago, 2 years ago now. I was actually embarrassed for how bad the product was on the football field. Now, and I say bad, guys, I mean, it was one of those games where I wanted to leave at halftime. Now, it was not Brock Schott. When I saw him play, he more surprised me more on defense, Brian, than on offense. It was a 17-14 game. I might actually forget if he scored a touchdown in that game. But defensively, Leo knew Kokomo was going to run the ball the entire game. So you're trying to figure out if you're Kokomo, do we run his side? Do we not run his side? Didn't matter. He was in the mix of things every single time. You mentioned something also, though, with him at 230, 235 range. We're used to so many Ohio State tight ends be 240, 245, really be 250, 255, and they're on the field. I hope he doesn't get up that heavy. Because I'm afraid of him. Let's say he does go to Ohio State, and let's say that they do their normal tight end strength and conditioning from day one. Get him up 240, 245, get on the field. He's 250 consistently. I'm worried about the speed he's going to be losing. I'm worried about him not being able to be as elusive and as big of a weapon when he split out wide as a flex tight end. I'm worried about that. You keep it more 235, putting on solid, good muscle, good weight. You keep that speed, keep that flexibility, allow him to beat you deep and to be able to still catch the ball over the middle. I think that's a better fit for him weight-wise at the next level.
I think it is too. I know it's probably the most overused comparison on the planet, but he has Travis Kelce kind of skills in terms of how he plays. I'm not saying he has Travis's hands. Be very clear about that. That's a little different. But at the same time, he's pretty nimble in space. Travis makes guys miss like a running back. He's the rarest of the rare. Nobody's him. But he's able to do that at 215, 220. If he can just put on 15 pounds, again, even if he's just a modest blocker, teams are going to be missing him in space. So a 3-yard look pass becomes a 12-yard first down.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science. Sometimes it's the most basic stuff. Don't overcomplicate it. Let the better player make the better play. And that's why I think you're right. Sometimes a little bit smaller is okay. And like Travis, maybe he's 250. I don't even know if Travis is that big. I don't know. But he's so nimble, it doesn't matter. And that's the kind of game that Schott plays too. Nothing wrong with it.
No, I don't really know what Travis Kelce's weight is. We see him play all the time. I would think maybe 240. Like, I'm being honest now. I'm thinking maybe 240. That
He's
extra
not
10
the
pounds.
biggest.
No, he's not. Not at all. Them Kelce boys, like, they're not the smallest kid. Like, Kelce's not a small tight end. His brother Jason Kelce's not a small, like, they're not small boys. But I was thinking more 240. But if he's 250, he is out there running like a running back, hands like a receiver. Perfect fit for Patrick Mahomes, man. It's kind of nasty, kind of scary what he's doing at the next level. And I'm going to say the same thing. Like, no, he's not going to be a Travis Kelce, and like, he's not going to be that kind of guy at Ohio State or wherever he is in college.
Yeah.
However, if you can be somewhat, not all the way there, but if you can work your way to being that type of receiver, tight end, more of a receiver here, Ryan Day needs that so bad. Because I think one thing with the offense this year, Cade Stover, you split him out wide, he's still 250, 255. I think a little bit smaller would have been better for shaking things up for the opposition.
I think sometimes that's the case. I like Stover, by the way.
Yes,
He's very good.
I do too.
Like, if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have beat Notre Dame and some other teams they played. He came up with key catches when they took away other players. And he was that matchup, even a bigger guy. Most linebackers just couldn't guard him. He's really good, and he's a physical kid. But if you had in a pack, again, 22 package, 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, okay, you had your Stover. If you put a kid like Schott in the lineup as well and you motion him out of the backfield or something, and they're in man coverage, that poor inside linebacker, that's not going to work.
No.
There's a different style for every circumstance. You have to be able to use that. I think Ohio State is one of the few schools that can get 2 elite tight ends in a class. So maybe they go get a big power guy to go with somebody like Schott in the class, for their traditional power game that Ohio State's always used. I don't know, but at the same time, I prefer the flex guy because I just still think throwing a short pass and letting the athlete be an athlete is the safest way to do it. There's a reason everybody's in spread now. It's not coincidence.
I really appreciate Brian Smith coming on the show. He is Locked On's recruiting analyst. You can follow him on X at FBScout_Florida. You can follow me on the same platform at JStevens07. This has been Locked On Buckeyes, guys. We'll see you next time.